It's a quiet New Year's Day for 2021, and this is my monthly and, in this case, beginning of the year update for January 2021. I'm going to talk a little bit about what went on in December and what we've got coming up in January. And this is not going to be like a review of the years or anything like that. I'm going to do that separately. This will just be for those two particular months. So I always like to begin with talking about three big things. So big thing number one, starting this month, I'm going to be bringing out some new classes in the Study with Sadler Academy. All of them oriented around philosophy in one way or another. So keep an eye out for that in my various social media. Some of you may be quite interested in that. People have been saying they want to take classes with me for a long time. There's your opportunity. Big thing number two, in the half-hour Hegel project, due to the work that I put in this month of December, we are now at the cusp of moving from the spirit section of the work, where we've been for a long time, into the religion section. I'll talk a little bit more about that in the January section of this. Then finally, we have a new lineup for the Worlds of Speculative Fiction series. You can go to my Arexis Dianoetike site or to, once I get it updated, the class site for the Worlds of Speculative Fiction. You'll see all the different authors who we're going to do, starting with Liu Cixin this coming month of January. So those are the big things. Let's talk now about December. A lot of stuff going on in December, as always, holiday season approaching and end of semester, a lot of grading for me and a lot of work for my students. I did happen to do a Worlds of Speculative Fiction session on Ursula K. Le Guin. We did the Book 4, Book 5, Book 6 of the Earthsea trilogy, and we had some great discussion. The video for that is linked. If you just click the show more in the video description, you'll see it. We also did my usual AMA, that is Ask Me Anything. We did a political theory and practice discussion as well. Those are online events that I do through YouTube Live. I did my usual half-hour Hegel Q&A and discussion, one for the general public, one for Patreon supporters of the project, philosophy chat for some of my Patreon supporters at the higher levels. And we held our monthly MKE Sophia, that's Society of Philosophy in America, and our Stoic Fellowship meeting. As a matter of fact, we just had our Stoic Fellowship meeting yesterday, so that was a lot of fun getting to see everybody. And of course, Wisdom for Life radio show has been airing. Mostly reruns this last month because Dan and I only recorded one show on the Paradox of Choice, but we did do that. My classes, as I mentioned, ended. This was a grueling semester, not just for my students, but also for myself. I had to do a lot of content production, in part because I taught 6 different classes, a couple of which I didn't have videos available for. So I shot something like, 300 new lecture videos over the course of the semester, between world religions, biomedical ethics, a few things I needed for business ethics, and a ton of content for the existentialism class. There was a lot of new stuff that had to be done, so that kept me pretty busy. Been doing editing and writing, meeting with some of my collaborators. We had an end of the year meeting for the steering committee for modern Stoicism, and of course I did a lot of tutorial work and some philosophical counseling work with clients. So that always continues on. Video-wise, I'm very proud to say that I shot 4 half-hour Hegel videos on the spirit section. I didn't get to the very end of the section as I had hoped to, but 4 is way better than 1 or 0, which has sometimes been the case over this last year due to busyness. I also, produced a video for the Wisdom for Life show that we did. I shot some Sadler stories. I think some of you may have enjoyed those, telling you a little bit about, things that happened in my life. Did a couple caption contests. People seem to have really enjoyed those as well. And I did one trolley problem meme video that I'd been meaning to do for quite a while. And I did some core concept videos on Albert Camus, The Myth of Sisyphus, and on Frantz Fanon's Black Skin, White Masks. On the podcast, the Sadler's Lectures podcast, by the way, people who sometimes say, I have been doing a podcast for about a year and a half now. So in the Sadler's Lectures podcast, I made a vote and let people decide who I should do next. So I finished up with the de Beauvoir. One's on ethics of, on the second sex. And Heidegger was the hands-down favorite, so I did some stuff on Heidegger's What is Metaphysics? And then I did podcast episodes on Fyodor Dostoevsky's Brothers Karamazov, primarily those two chapters in Book 5. And I've started doing some Aristotle podcast episodes on Book 2 of the Nicomachean Ethics. All of those I early released to my Patreon supporters. So, they get to see things a little bit before other people. And that's it for December. And that rounded out the year. We have a lot of stuff lined up for January. So starting tomorrow, that is the 2nd, at 12 noon. All of the times are Central Time, by the way, because that's where I'm based here in Milwaukee. I will be having my monthly Ask Me Anything, AMA session, right? So if you want to get in on that, that'll be YouTube Live. Link to it is below. You can easily find it if you're a subscriber to this channel. If you turn your notifications on, you get notifications about all the events I do. Right later on that day, tomorrow, at 2 p.m., I'll have my philosophy chat for Patreon supporters. That's a perk that I provide to them. It's a more intimate video conferencing session. They can ask me about anything that they want to and discuss things in more detail. On the 3rd, which is Sunday, at 12 p.m., I'm doing a philosophy pop-up. Usually I don't announce these in advance except to Patreon supporters, but I'm going to do so this time. And this pop-up, which will be in YouTube Live, will be about making New Year's resolutions and why I think resolutions are actually a bad idea. And if you've made them, you should break them and replace them with something else instead. So you can tune in and find out about that. On the 9th, we'll have our first Worlds of Speculative Fiction series event of the year. This will be session 48 in the series. It's going to be focused on Liu Cixin's Remembrance of Earth's Past trilogy. I might bring in some of the other things that I've got by him as well. So that always begins with a YouTube video premiere where we can do live chat. And then with a more intimate live discussion via Zoom afterwards. So the video premiere is at 12 o'clock. The live chat in Zoom will be at 1:30 p.m. Then on the 13th, a Wednesday at 5 p.m., I'll have my public Hegel Q&A and discussion session underwritten by my Patreon supporters, but available to anybody who wants to go. If you've got questions about Hegel, about German idealism, about philosophy in general, or the themes that Hegel discusses, like history and, human development, come and we'll talk about it. On the 16th at 12 p.m., we'll be doing the first classic metal class of the year. We're going to be focusing some more on the new wave of British heavy metal, which ran, you could say it began in 1980 is a good starting point. We could say like 84, 85, 86 is the real end of it, if we want to include bands like Chromoly in there. So that'll be, a session between me and Scott Terulli. We'll be discussing some new aspects about the new wave of British heavy metal that we didn't cover in the last class session. On the 23rd, I'll be doing a video premiere about self-directed study, my advice for studying Boethius, somebody who I'm teaching again this term. And then on the 24th, and I want to wait until later in the month, until after we have the inauguration so we can see what happens, we'll be having our political theory and practice discussion. I haven't decided what the topic will be precisely, but we'll see what happens with the Biden inauguration. You know, I'm sure I'll have plenty of ideas. Then finally, on the 28th at 6 p.m., we have our Milwaukee Stoic Fellowship, open to people all over the world. We've been joined by people from Brazil, from Europe, from all sorts of other places. So open to the public. We'll be discussing the 9th and 10th chapter of Antonia Maccaro's great book, More Than Happiness, which is a comparative study of Buddhism and Stoicism with a bit of Aristotle thrown in here and there. I should remind you as well that every Saturday at 4 p.m., Wisdom for Life, the radio show that I do for River West Radio with my co-host Dan Hayes, will be playing worldwide. You can go to the site, click on the button to listen live, and you'll hear it. It won't be live every single time. They're going to be doing a few rerun episodes, but we are going to be doing some new shows as well coming up, so you want to stay tuned about that. And what else to talk about? So we've got videos coming up. I'm going to be, the events videos, the Worlds of Speculative Fiction, AMA, all that sort of stuff will be in there that you can watch. Video premieres, you should stay tuned for those as well. And I'm going to keep doing some of these personal videos, like the Sadler stories, the caption contest. I might do some more meme videos if I get ambitious enough. And I'm going to be plugging away at Hegel. I want to get back up to 6 videos a month because I do want to eventually finish this half-hour Hegel project. And we will be crossing the threshold into the religion section. So that's really cool. The spirit section of the phenomenology is the longest one, and it's taken us several years to get through. The religion section is not quite so long, and so now we're on the downhill grade. We're getting our way towards absolute knowing, and hopefully we'll conclude the project by the end of the year, maybe. We'll see how it works out. I'm going to be shooting some other videos providing advice to students. Various sorts, like how to read a philosophical text. I know I did that video years and years and years ago on how to do that. I want to update that. I want to talk about like how to avoid plagiarism, what plagiarism is, how to, reach out to your professors and possibly get a decent response. I'm going to do some things like that, I think, to help out students in academic settings. And then I'm going to also be doing some book reviews. I've been putting those off for a while. I've got quite a few books that I need to do Sadler's honest reviews of. And then we've got core concept videos. And the core concept videos, I'm going to be doing some on Boethius, obviously, because I'm teaching the consolation of philosophy in one or two of my classes. I can't remember quite which ones I've got it in. I know I've got it in Boethius in another class. Some Foucault videos. One of the classes I'm teaching this semester is philosophy, mindfulness, and life, and so we'll be talking about Foucault's conception of technologies of the self. So I'll be doing some work on that. And also some videos on Pierre Hadot and some of his key ideas about philosophy as a way of life, because that fits into that philosophy, mindfulness, and life class. And that'll probably be it for the core concept videos this month. And I may do some other videos. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Podcast, we got a lot of stuff coming out. I'm still churning away at the Aristotle. The other person who is in the vote, who I have to do some podcast episodes on, is Cicero, and I'm going to be doing them on his book on friendship. But I also need to do some on Plato's Meno. I need to do some on parts of Plato's Republic that I haven't gotten to, some other Aristotle podcast episodes. on Nickel McCann ethics, portions of that I'm going to be teaching this semester. So that'll probably take me to the end of the month. And, what else is going on? A lot of standard work, doing some writing projects, particularly with some collaborators of mine. Some of them are independent. I'm going to be writing more often in my Medium publication. I'm starting an actual publication for myself. What else? I've got philosophical counseling clients and tutorial clients. People are asking me to come on for interviews for podcasts or shows or things like that. So you'll see some of that stuff coming out. And of course, there's Stoicism Today. I'm still editing that. It's still part of the team. And so I'll be doing quite a bit of work on that front as well. And that takes me basically through this thankfully long month of January. I hope all of you had a great New Year's. And, hopefully 2021 will be a better year than 2020 was for so many different reasons. And hopefully I'll see you at some of these online events. And